I was in the military, I was in the Air Force. I retired from the Air Force in 2004. We moved into Fort Worth. My daughter, she was a beautiful child, vibrant. She would testify in our neighborhood, bring kids to church, and she was just completely in love with the Lord. At the age of 12, though, things changed. We saw behavior changes, and we didn't know what was going on. We thought it was teenage stuff. Then one day, she tried to jump out of a truck and kill herself. And that was our first trip to a mental hospital because we couldn't keep her safe. Didn't know what to do. She began cutting herself and all sorts of things. Well, that's when we sort of found out she was raped. And she didn't tell us for a year. We were staggered. We didn't know what to do. We prayed. Rape counseling, trauma counselors. But she was angry with the Lord. She was seeking her own kind of peace, I guess, and she sought, in spite of all the counseling and prayer, she chased after things of the world. She began getting involved with drugs and alcohol. But we continued praying for her and taking her to counselings, but then about a year later, her very best friend committed suicide. That sent my daughter deeper into more depression, and this went on for 5 years of her leading a very high-risk lifestyle. She didn't care if she lived or died. It was 5 years of agony. And it got to a point where I thought she was at a point of no return. Not that God wasn't able, but that she didn't want it. We stayed involved in church. Harvest America was coming to Dallas. My pastor, Bill, asked me if I'd like to be involved and help with that. I was really grateful, thankful for that, because of the fact that I rededicated my life to Christ. It was at Greg Lowry's church. So to be asked to help with the Harvest in Dallas, I was excited. During the crusade, we brought my daughter. She was a little reluctant to go, but we brought her anyway. At the end of the Harvest, after confessions of faith were made, my job really at the time was to provide Bibles to those who were giving their lives to Christ. There were people down there leading people in prayer, and so I was making sure they were supplied with Bibles and doing a lot of running around. And then afterwards, when that was over, I saw an opportunity to help collect the boxes that were all around the field of decision cards that were left there by people. And we bring them to a sorting room. And this room was enormous, it was huge. There was tables everywhere, and boxes and cartridges getting dropped off, and people were sorting them by zip code so they can contact the people who made decisions for Christ. As I was leaving one time, I walked by the table, and I just happened to look down, and right as I did, a card turned over. It had my daughter's name on it. And I just stopped because God told me then that He had her. I was staggered because even in a time when I'm just busy and working, God spoke to me. And I was just amazed. And you know, God did have her. I'm so thankful for the faithfulness of Pastor Greg. I know he is used by God in a mighty way. And I'm just so grateful that he would step out and continually do what he does. People are restored or they're brought back to the Lord. She's restored to the Lord Jesus Christ. She loves the Lord. She seeks to walk righteously. All the relationships in our family have been restored. She had hopes and dreams of a future. It's been a long road, but it's amazing how God is always there. If you're a Christian and you have lost family members, it's painful. If you're a Christian and you have wounded family members who have left the Lord, it's painful. But I just want to encourage you, keep praying for them. When the opportunity comes to bring them to a crusade, please bring them. My daughter's a testimony. It was 5 hard years, but now it's all new again. And I know if you're out there and you're struggling, the Lord sees you. The Lord loves you. Bring them to the crusades and let the Lord speak to their hearts.